folks, welcome back to the channel. We are Mile High Beach. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Pleshette.
And thank you for joining us. If you're new to our channel, we welcome you and we're so glad you're here. We're always excited to meet new friends and new folks that are interested in the full-time RV life. If you didn't realize that we were full-time RVers, guess what? We've been on the road for almost 2 years now. And we'll put a video to our intro video here somewhere, so you can find it. Yeah. Oh, Charlie is here too. Charlie, our son Charlie, our furry son. Charlie, he's here too. You'll see his lovely photo at the end of the video. So today's video is a big rig friendly campground review, and this is for Sam's Town KOA in Las Vegas. And a funny story, you might have, if you watched our previous video, you would know why we're here. But the reason we came to this one is because we had to get out of the Amargosa Valley.
Yeah, pretty much. We had to get out of the windstorms of our previous site, so we needed a refuge somewhere quickly that could take us.
Yeah,
and that could not only take us, because they had availability, but it also takes something the size that we are.
Yeah. And you'll see from our intro video and some of our other videos, we are a 2021 Grand Design Momentum 44-foot fifth wheel toy hauler. So that is not something that you just pop into any campground.
It's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. Yeah, and we were grateful that they had space and that they could take a big rig. So the location is in Las Vegas. There's one thing I'll say about this park though, is that it's divided into two different parts. And so when you book your reservation, you want to make sure you're clear about which section of the park you're pulling into.
Yeah.
There's the park that we were in, and then there's something called Fremont, and I don't even remember.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
But it was a little confusing.
It was.
Just to make sure that we were going into the right entrance. Because you do have to make sure that, you're going on the right side.
Yeah. And we were still sort of new at this. I mean, we hadn't even been at it in 6 months, so we were, a little anxious pulling in there. So thankfully we pulled into the right spot. They had enough space pulling in off of that main road, and to get into the park was not a hassle. It was the very, one of the things that we like about the KOA is it kind of reminds us of our timeshare. You kind of know what to expect. The check-in is familiar, the amenities can be familiar, and so that was the case with this one. Nearby attractions, well, it's near Las Vegas Strip, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Lake Mead, the Hoover Dam, and the Valley of Fire State Park. Yeah. These were all really, really very nice stops. We didn't go to the Strip. You went to do some photography.
So I did do some photography with some friends of ours, Judy and Stephanie, of In the Moment. They
we'll put a link to their
videos. But they were in town as well. Just happened to be. They were staying at a different park, but we were able to get together with them a couple times. So I did go out and they're into photography, just like I am. So we did go out and shoot one night on the Strip.
Yeah. So that was it's very nice, and one of the things that we've discovered being on the road is how lovely the state parks are. And I had never even heard of the Valley of Fire State Park. So we'll put some photos to this, and we'll talk a little bit more about it when we get to the special moments. But really, this is a great proximity to a number of things.
Yeah, and I'll just say, of course, we hadn't done the kind of research that we normally do when we go into a park. Because normally we research the amenities and the attractions and those types of things. And in this case, we just needed to get out of our previous place. So yeah, this place, again, it was close by, it was available, and they said they were big group friendly.
Yeah, and so that fit the bill, thankfully. Yeah, and the biggest reason, it was the wind, and the thing that compounded because of the wind is we were just too far from the cell towers, and we both were, so we needed to get closer into town where we could get to the cell towers, and so this is why we pivoted. So we were there from 3/27 to 4/18, 2021. We had full hookups. It was a gravel site that we were in. I mean, it was concrete or asphalt to drive through the park.
Right.
But then when you moved into your site, it was like a gravel site.
Like a gravel site.
Yeah. It was a pretty busy park. I mean, this had a very regular flow. One of the things that we've noticed as full-time RVers is kind of the flow of an RV park. You can tell the people that are either full-time or permanent, and then you can tell the people that come in for the weekend. And so this one had a lot of in and out traffic. Yeah. Access from, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think it's because it is a good stop on the way to some other places.
Yeah.
It's a good destination when you're trying to get to, say, other points in Arizona or Utah or other places. So, so we did see a lot of turnover because I think people were just coming in for a couple of nights and then moving on.
Yeah, that's typically what we saw. Access road issues off the main drag. I don't remember what the name of that street was, but it seemed like it was a pretty decent entrance. It wasn't as wide as other entrances that we've seen, but it was pretty decent. And remember, I mentioned that there's two different addresses and two different sides to this park. So you just want to make sure that when you're going in, you're confirming what side you're coming in and what street you're coming in off of. The lot spacing here was tight. We've never seen a setup like this where you're sharing a pedestal with your neighbor, and so they have you parking campsite to campsite. So when you walk out your door, you're like looking at your neighbor. So that was different, and it was tight.
And it was very close. I mean, you probably have a note here, but I mean, if you put your awning out, your awning and your neighbor's awning would basically touch.
Yeah.
There were times where we had our slides out, and the RV coming in next to us, I literally thought when they put their slides out, they were going to hit our slide.
Yeah.
We've never been in a park that was that tight.
No. And we've never been in a park that was configured like that. I know one thing, because I'm the one that gets out of the car and goes in and checks in at the office. They were very specific about the way that you went into your site. And it's because they have this, very different approach to how they set people up. And that was, I mean, thankfully we liked our neighbor. JD?
I think it's him, yeah, it was JD.
Yeah, really nice guy. He did some top secret work out there in the desert. Really nice guy, made us dinner one night.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully we liked our neighbor because we were literally, you walk right out the door and you were looking right at him.
Yeah, it was tight.
Yeah. Wi-Fi and cell service. Better than Longstreet, I'll say that. We were closer to the towers. We didn't use the campground Wi-Fi, did we?
I don't remember. I mean, KOAs typically have decent Wi-Fi, so I don't recall if we used it. We were just so probably thankful to be able to use our own service.
Yeah.
I don't recall if we used their service. But they typically have good Wi-Fi at the KOAs in our experience. The ones that we've stayed at, they usually are pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, you can usually have a pretty consistent experience with the KOAs. Laundry facility. We did use the laundry facilities. I'm the one that does the laundry, so I found it to be a big area. There was a good amount of washers. There weren't a lot of signs that said out of service, because we see that all the time. I will show you pictures from other campground reviews. So that wasn't a problem. The one thing that I would say about this one is they didn't, and this is just a little teeny pet peeve of mine, they don't say how long the washer and the dryer goes. So you go in, you put your stuff in, you could guess that it's 30 minutes, it could be 45 minutes, you don't know. And so people just leave their laundry in there because, they don't know, and they just leave it in there. But anyway, there was enough washers and enough dryers, so it wasn't a problem. They did have showers, but we didn't use them. Other amenities, they were close to the strip, close to state parks. They had a good amount of dumpsters in the facility. That's another big thing. If there's like one dumpster and it's like out on the highway, don't love that. They had a good number at the end of the aisles. They had dumpsters. They had propane on site. They had a pool and a jacuzzi, but we didn't use the pool.
We didn't use those, but yeah, they did have them.
Yeah. The next section is pet friendly. It was pet friendly, and they did have a nice dog run, and they had the doggy bags and cans, throughout the park. Yeah. So that was good. Good management. That's our next section. It was typical for KOA. The check-in is easy. We have a KOA membership, so we get a discount for, and it costs like $39 a year to have the membership, and you get.
Yeah, it's a really inexpensive membership.
It's really reasonable, and you get discounts on all of your
stays.
On your stays, yeah. So the reservation check-in was easy. Like I said, very specific directions to the site. And then one of the things that we noticed about, and we started noticing this at this particular KOA, is KOA is good about text messaging you when stuff is happening. So like if there's going to be excessive wind and you should pull in your awnings, they send you a text message. That's really nice. We only see that
If
as
the water is out.
or if the water is out, or if the electric's out.
Sometimes they even text you that you have mail.
If you have mail.
So
yes.
they're usually they're very, I guess, proactive
High
with their
communication,
which is nice.
We appreciate that, and we've noticed that it's probably more consistently that we see that at KOAs than other places. Yeah. Grocery nearby. Yes, there was a gigantic Walmart right across the street that was a super center, and it was kind of in the middle of town, so there was stuff all over the place.
Yeah,
there was no
there was no shortage of shopping.
No shortage.
Restaurants, grocery stores, because I mean you're in Las Vegas basically.
Yeah.
You're not that far from the Strip.
Yeah.
And we were actually super close to the Fremont part of Las Vegas, so there's no shortage of places to shop.
Mm-hmm. So the next section is supplies nearby: Camping World, Ace, Hardware, Harbor Freight, True Value. Yes, we were near Henderson, and we actually went to the Camping World, and that's where we bought our Blackstone. So unfortunately, we have gotten rid of our Blackstone, but it just did not. It's too bad, but it didn't work out for us. We'll link the video to that here. And then, like I said, there was a Walmart across the street. Mail service is our next section. Yes.
Yeah.
What is this? Night at the... Oh, right at the... Oh. So in some parks that you go to, if you put your space number on the address where things should be delivered, you can get things delivered directly to your door, which is quite nice. A lot of places like to have all the mail come in through the front office and then they kind of keep it, or some places will deliver your mail directly to your door. So yeah, I have a note here. This was a year ago, just so you know. We're a little bit behind. It says here right at the front door, so I'm imagining that the KOA people would deliver our packages to our front door. Special moments here. The Valley of Fire State Park.
Yeah, we were surprised. We'd never been to, again, like I said earlier, we hadn't done any planning, because oftentimes we plan the things we want to do in an area, but because this was really a pivot from someplace else, we didn't really plan it. But it was great to get a chance to see Valley of Fire State Park.
Beautiful.
It was a fantastic state park to go visit.
Yeah.
There's several others. Again, I mentioned Judy and Stephanie.
Yeah, we had a brunch with them. That was lovely.
Brunch with them.
And you'll see from the pictures how tight it is. We were squeezed in between these two spots.
Yeah.
But we had a good time.
Right, we had a great time. So it was nice to see them a couple of times.
Yeah. And you got to do some photo shooting with Judy and Stephanie. And then our neighbor JD made us jambalaya dinner. That was lovely. And then my friend Jim came to visit. So Jim and I used to work together a long time ago at Terradata. And he came to visit. He's had a house in Las Vegas for many years, so he came to visit. And then also we got a chance to go to the Hoover Dam and see that lovely little city that I love.
Oh, yeah. Boulder City.
Boulder City. One of the reasons why we decided to sell our house in San Diego and hit the road is so that we could find that spot that we might want to settle down in for retirement outside of the state of California. And we roll into all these interesting towns, and some of them we roll into, and I'm like, what do you think? Could we live here?
Live there?
Well, Boulder City was one of those towns.
It was really charming. It was a really nice town.
Yeah, and they are super proud of their heritage around creating the Hoover Dam. I mean, on every street sign, on every corner, there's no question about who built the Hoover Dam. So the top three and the bottom three. Top three would be that we were able to pivot from Long Street, and that they had that availability.
Yeah, that they had availability, and we could fit.
Yeah. The proximity to just all the stuff that we were talking about, all the different things that you could go see and do, that was really quite nice. I mean, to have to just like peel out of a place and go someplace else, it's nice that you have all these other things available. The other thing would be KOA standard, the fact that it is, like I mentioned, it's kind of like, it's not a timeshare, but it's consistent in its service delivery. So you can go to one KOA and another KOA, and you can kind of
pretty much guarantee you're going to get the same kind of look and feel.
Yeah. As far as the bottom three,
it was tight.
It was tight. Tight AF.
Super tight. I mean, and we were in a pull-through spot.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't that we I think a lot of them were pull-throughs.
A lot of the park was pull-through.
A lot of the park was pull-through, but it was still just a very tight proximity to your neighbor.
Yeah.
And it was tight on both sides.
On both sides.
It wasn't like it was tight on just one side. It was tight on both sides.
Yeah.
So that was, that
we didn't love that.
We didn't like that.
Yeah. And on that note of being tight on both sides, the shared pedestal, because you remember you were like, are they going to unplug our stuff?
Well,
and
that was, because, I mean, the pedestal, because it is shared, I think it's, I mean, I'm pretty sure that it's labeled, but, again, I think people can get easily confused. So you see somebody out there messing around, you're not sure they're going to hook your stuff and plug their stuff.
Have your power go off in the middle of the
so
night.
it's just, especially if, people come in late.
Yeah.
So the shared pedestal was not a fan of.
Didn't love that, yeah. The immediate surrounding area.
Yeah. It wasn't the nicest area, unfortunately.
No.
I mean,
it's a little sketchy.
It was a little, it wasn't the type of area that you probably want to spend a lot of time walking around in.
Yeah, you just want to be aware of your surroundings and whatever. One thing I will say about the surrounding area, though, is this is called Sam's Town because it's right next door to the Sam's Town Casino and that whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
And the Sam's Town Casino is one of those old school, probably from the 90s, or I mean, it is an old casino.
Definitely not a current situation.
No, it's no Wynn Hotel and Casino. But I will tell you, when you go in there, it's an older casino, and we had dinner there, and I was amazed. The dinner was amazing.
Yeah, we ate at the steakhouse.
That restaurant was
and it was
great.
Actually, really good.
It was very great.
So,
yeah.
So you do have that,
in the immediate
area, but outside of that, it was. I wouldn't say it was the best part of town.
No. And when I think about all the places we've been and the amount of time that we've been doing this, that's probably the only place that I can remember where I remember hearing choppers. You know how you hear the police choppers going over?
Yeah, that's true. We did. We heard that quite a bit.
On more than one occasion.
I mean, you are in Las Vegas, right? You're in an urban environment, so you're going to have urban kind of surroundings.
Urban features.
Yeah, exactly. Urban features.
So, thumbs up or thumbs down for this one? What would you say? So our series and the playlist for this is it Big Rig friendly? So it's absolutely Big Rig friendly. Yeah. Because there was some crazy. I'll post some of the pictures of some of the stuff that we saw. People with like stuff stacked 3 and 4 things high on top of their RVs. Some crazy stuff. So it's definitely Big Rig friendly. Would we go there again?
I don't think we'd seek it out.
No. That's probably a sideways thumb on this one.
Yeah, sideways thumb.
It's a sideways thumb on this one.
I mean, I think it's a good stopping point to someplace else.
Yeah.
You might stay a couple of nights, but
yeah.
We were there like 3 weeks. Would we do that again? No.
No. No. And Charlie would probably give a sideways paw to that one too. I mean, he was like, "It's alright."
It's alright.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing. When you're out here on the road and you're looking for places to stay, and you're a big rig like us, 44-foot toy hauler and a 22-foot truck, you need to know where you can stay. And there's a big difference between a Class A pulling a toad that's 44 foot and a fifth wheel. So we like to give that perspective of the fifth wheel story because that's our story.
Yeah.
And so follow our playlist for the Big Rig Campground reviews and find places we like.
Let us know where you stay if you're in the Vegas area.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's lots of other options.
Lots of other options.
Like I said, this wasn't a horrible experience. It's not one I would necessarily put at the top of the list.
No.
But if there are other places that you like, let us know.
Yeah.
We would love to know of other places because Vegas is a nice place to go visit. When you're looking for that type of entertainment.
Yes.
We'd love to know other places in the area.
Yeah.
that you've been to.
We'd love it. And we'd love for you to introduce yourself in the comments below. Tell us what kind of RV you have. Tell us if you've stayed at any other place in Las Vegas. If you went to the Valley of Fire State Park. If you went to Boulder City. Tell us all about your experiences or places that you like to go, because we're always on the lookout for a great place to take this big old rig that we're in. Yeah.
So with that, I think we are done.
And we'll see you
next time.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Wow.